On November 8th, 2025, something incredible happened in Beverly Hills. 300 of the most powerful people on Earth walked into a $165 million mansion. Beyoncé was there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were there. Bill Gates was there. And they all came for one woman, 70-year-old Kris Jenner. This wasn't just a birthday party. This was a statement. The event cost up to $6.5 million. Bruno Mars got paid $3 million just to sing. Real poker tables, real roulette wheels, espresso martinis all night. And the twist, Kris didn't pay a dime. Her billionaire kids covered everything. Imagine being so powerful that royalty and billionaires show up just for you. By the end, you'll see the guest list, the costs, and the secrets behind this night. This was the most lavish celebration in modern history. Let's start with who showed up. This wasn't just celebrities. This was pure power. Oprah Winfrey, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Mariah Carey, Justin Bieber, Stevie Wonder. These people don't just attend parties. They shape the world, and they all came for Kris. Think of it like the Avengers. But instead of superheroes, it's billionaires, royalty, and legends. Here's what's crazy. Prince Harry and Meghan rarely appear in public. Royal protocol limits them. But for Kris, they made an exception. That tells you everything about her power. So where do you host 300 of the most influential people alive? You need a place that matches the guest list. This party happened at Jeff Bezos' personal $165 million estate in Beverly Hills, one of the most expensive homes in Los Angeles, and it was completely transformed into a James Bond fantasy for one night. Privacy hedges blocked paparazzi. Security cleared every guest. Imagine hosting 300 people at a private mansion. The logistics alone are insane. The event got so loud that police showed up, but when they saw the guest list, they left. Because when you're hosting royalty and billionaires, normal rules don't apply. So the venue was iconic. But what about the theme? That's where things got genius. The theme was 0070. James Bond meets Kris's 70th birthday. And it was brilliant. Guests dressed in black tie formal wear. The mansion had real poker and roulette tables. Espresso martinis, Kris's favorite drink, flowed all night. Everything made you feel like you stepped into a spy movie. And here's the genius part. Bond represents power, sophistication, and global influence. That's exactly what Kris wanted to project. Kris even posed with a gold pistol and a red rose in her mouth, channeling the first Bond girl. She wasn't just hosting the party, she was starring in it. But a theme means nothing without entertainment. And Kris hired someone legendary. Bruno Mars performed live at the party. His fee, $3 million. That was the single biggest expense of the entire event. Imagine one of the biggest stars on Earth performing just for you and 300 friends. Not in an arena, not on tour, just for you. That's what Kris's children gave her. And here's the twist. For them, $3 million is nothing. They're worth billions combined. This was their way of saying thank you to the woman who built their empire. The performance was so loud that police showed up. But when they saw who was inside, they left. Every guest signed NDAs. No videos leaked. Total control. But the entertainment wasn't the only luxury. Now let's talk about the details. Wall-to-wall florals, crystal chandeliers, real poker and roulette tables, Michelin star appetizers, a full caviar bar. And here's the crazy part. VIP guests got personal butlers, whose only job was to serve one person. Car-to-door service meant no guest even touched the pavement. Every single detail was perfect. Think of it like a 5-star hotel, except you're not checking in, you're being pampered. This level of perfection takes military-style planning. One mistake, one cold dish, one missing drink, and the whole thing breaks. But the team delivered flawlessly. Now here's the question everyone's asking. Who actually paid for all this? Here's the most remarkable detail. Kris didn't pay a single dime. Her 6 children, Kim, Courtney, Khloe, Kendall, Kylie, and Rob, funded everything. The entire $3.9 to $6.5 million celebration. This was their way of saying thank you to the woman who built their empire. Think of it like kids pooling money for a surprise party, except instead of $500, they split $6.5 million. Kylie alone is worth over $600 million. Kim is a billionaire, So $6.5 million. That's pocket change. But what about Kris herself? How did she dress for this moment? Kris wore a strapless Givenchy haute couture crimson gown with ruffles and long black gloves. The dress was an Alexander McQueen original from the 2002 fall/winter collection, and she posed with a red rose in her mouth and a gold pistol in hand. She was channeling Sylvia Trench, the first Bond girl. Imagine being 70 years old and dressing like a movie star. Most people that age play it safe. Not Kris. She dressed to dominate, and she did. Her outfit wasn't just fashion, it was theater. By dressing as the Bond girl, she made herself the star of the night. When she posted the photos on Instagram, they got hundreds of thousands of likes in hours. But the real power of this party wasn't the outfit, it was who showed up, especially one couple. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle attended the party, and their presence was rare. Media outlets called it a major public appearance, because royal protocol usually limits where they go. But for Kris, they made an exception. Imagine being so powerful that British royalty shows up to your birthday party. Not a state dinner, not a charity gala. Your birthday. Harry wore a tuxedo. Meghan wore a floor-length black gown. And here's the twist. Their attendance wasn't just social, it was political. By showing up, they aligned themselves with the Kardashian Jenner brand. That's a calculated move. Meghan and Kris have been friends for years, so this wasn't just a courtesy invite, it was genuine friendship. Now, how do you keep 300 VIPs' privacy intact? One leak could ruin everything. Every single attendee signed a non-disclosure agreement. Multi-layered security cleared every guest before they entered. Privacy hedges blocked paparazzi from the street. Car-to-door service meant no one was photographed arriving. This wasn't just a party, it was a vault. What happened inside stayed inside. Imagine going to a party where you can't post photos, you can't share stories, you can't even talk about what you saw. That's the level of control Kris demanded, and it worked. Almost nothing leaked. NDAs aren't just legal papers, they're social contracts. Guests agreed that Kris's privacy mattered more than their Instagram likes. The only photos that surfaced? The ones Kris posted herself. That's unprecedented for a party this big. So the party was secure. The guests were legendary. The venue was iconic. But what does all this really mean? This party wasn't just about turning 70. It was about cementing legacy. Kris didn't just celebrate her birthday. She celebrated her empire. The event cost up to $6.5 million. It featured 9 billionaires worth $600 billion combined. British royalty, global superstars, all in one room. And here's the thing. Most people's influence fades with age, but Kris's is growing. She's not slowing down, she's accelerating. When guests called it the event of the year, they weren't exaggerating. Assembling this many powerful people for one person? Nearly impossible. But Kris pulled it off. That's her genius. Here's the truth. This wasn't just a birthday, it was a demonstration of power. When royalty, billionaires, and legends gather for you, you're not just famous, you're a force. Kris didn't pay for this. Her children did, as gratitude. Kris Jenner's 70th birthday was the most lavish celebration in modern history. Not because of the $6.5 million budget, but because of who showed up. Royalty, billionaires, legends, all for one woman. That's power, that's legacy. Drop a comment. Could anyone else pull this off? Hit subscribe for more deep dives into luxury and influence. And remember, this wasn't just a party, it was a masterclass in influence.